Listen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. It's time to shower the people. You guys ready to shower the people? Good. Well, it's wonderful to see all of your faces this morning and have us come together as a spiritual community as we do every Sunday morning here. As a community that is known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We come together as a metaphysical community, which oftentimes when I say that, even last night at a party, someone says to me, "What is metaphysical?" And I said, it's believing that there's more to life than just the physical, which then stumps them long enough for me to refill my drink. And So we are a community that comes together that primarily practices the teachings of the science of mind and other New Thought teachings, which the essence of that is that there's one power that's permeating the universe, and we as individualizations of that both experience it and express it by means of our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions. And we get to experience it because there are spiritual laws in the universe that govern that action process. And much like physical laws, such as the law of gravity, those laws exist. We have no power over them whatsoever, and they have no personal power over us, even though sometimes it feels like that. If that's something that you find intriguing and interesting and would like to know more about it, not only will you hear that today in my message, but you will have the opportunity to tap into that on January 10th when our Practical Mysticism class begins at 7 p.m. So a quick plug there. We come together every Sunday morning to connect in community. We honor all aspects of humanity, all sentient beings. We honor you no matter where you are on your journey in life, no matter your gender, your sexual orientation, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your hair color, no matter whether your hair color is natural or not, no matter your size, your girth, your sexual orientation, your beliefs, no matter. We look at life from a perspective that we all have inherently within us the purity, the wholeness, and the allness of the divine. And we honor you on that path as long as it's one that is propagating goodness by means of humanity. And we honor you if you're not from afar, in that case. We still do the process of honoring no matter what, but welcome you into our spiritual home on your journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, as we've already established, it is New Year's Eve, meaning that we're rolling out 2017 and rolling in 2018. And I'll speak more. Okay. You're welcome. And so I'll speak more about that this morning, but as you see from your chairs, not just the chairs, but what's in your chairs, you have a handout today, which is unusual for us here, except we did it last week on our holiday service, which, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of reveled in the glow of that service from last Sunday for a bit, huh? Really beautiful service, so thank you for being here and the musicians for bringing forth that. But you have that handout. Feel free. It's got some quotes in it that you can look at that I'm going to be using today during my message, as well as you'll see that there's a part that says 2018. That's going to be an exercise that we're going to go through at the end of my message today of releasing that which we would desire to release by embracing it, and then bringing into 2018 that which we desire to experience, and then releasing that as well. On the back of the handout, there's a prayer that we're going to use today. So I'm sharing that with you so you know what you have in front of you. So, as Dr. Walker said, welcome one and welcome all. So we welcome you all here today for our New Year's Eve service. I want to say hello to those that are watching us online. Hello, those watching us online. We're live streaming. I know that the audio is working today. We had some challenges a couple of weeks ago. Not only is it working, I've learned how to repair it when it's broken. So I believe, as we used to say in teen camp, here we grow again. So we open our service every Sunday morning with a ritual. And that ritual is for the purpose of anchoring within ourselves who we are as spiritual beings and really just becoming clear on why we are here in life and here on Sunday morning on the journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. But it's also to acknowledge the qualities of the divine that exist within us, that exist no matter what. And this morning, our practitioner of the day was the person that takes us through that process. I am that today, so I'm going to take us through the process. And welcome to the Bema, our illuminator, one of our staff ministers here, Reverend Lenore Edney. So please welcome Reverend Lenore. And for those of you that may not be aware, it's music that goes along with this ritual. That's a song and response, a call and response. So you will be guided through that process. And so let's all take a deep breath in for the purpose of anchoring ourselves. And let's begin.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
The ritual that we perform this morning and each and every Sunday morning is called Calling in the Light. Today we are adapting our traditional ceremony, honoring those that awoke at what was the equivalent of 4 a.m. Pacific time around the world, and participated in a world peace meditation. So let's take a moment and just bring forth the energy of that which has transpired around our globe. And remember that the acronym for peace is purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. As we move beyond the calendar year 2017 and move into 2018, we bring forth the awareness of the peace that we desire to experience in our life as we perform this ceremony today, as an acknowledgement to all who are desiring to experience and express greater peace in their life on our planet. We know together that as we experience and participate in this ritual, that we remember that all people, all faiths, all sentient beings are one with the great universal presence. It's that which we call spirit. So please join me in knowing that this calendar year ahead is steeped in peace. And as we go forth, may we each be empowered by peace and the act of healing, and a deeper awareness of connection to Source, whose one name is God, and whose other name is love. And may we know together and consciously participate in the blessings of love that are upon us, and know that may they propagate good and peace and harmony around the world. As Reverend Lenore lights the first candle, may we know together that may love's truth be upon our vision of healing and knowing peace. The second candle is illuminated as we know together that may love's wisdom dwell within our hearts and cause peace to take place around the world. The third candle is illuminated as we know together this: may love's persistence inspire our lips, and that which flows from them be peaceful. Reverend Lenore lights the fourth candle as we know together: may love's gentleness give comfort to our bodies, and may peace radiate from within outward. As we move to the fifth candle, we know together and know that our knowing has power. Knowing may love's gratitude accompany our sleep, throughout the year ahead. As we move to the sixth candle, let's know together that may love's healing be a balm for our brokenness. And this balm creates peace throughout all sentient beings. As Reverend Lenore lights the seventh candle, she does so, as we know together, may love's serenity give peace to our weary soul. And as we move to the eighth candle, we know together that may love's confidence energize our mind, and in so doing, bring forth a manifestation in our lives of peace of mind, which moves us to the final candle, which is known as the healing candle. And in this moment, I ask you to take a moment and think of someone, whether you know them or not, that you would like to silently put into the light of the healing flame, so that they may experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine, and in so doing be bathed and immersed in love and in peace.
I am love.
I am love.
I am peace.
I am peace.
In my heart,
In my heart,
I am free.
I am free.
I am spirit.
I am spirit.
I am soul.
I am soul.
All together,
All together,
we are whole. Calling in the light. Calling in the light. Calling in the light of love. Calling in the light. Calling in the light. Calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
So just staying with our eyes closed and centered in this moment of this peaceful energy. I know for each of us that we bring into our mind's eye this feeling of peace, this energy that we can activate through our consciousness in an evolutionary manner, purpose. We bring forth into our mind's eye the visual of individuals around our planet at the hour of 4 a.m. Pacific time this morning, meditating not just on peace, but as peace. As I speak my word in the spiritual mind treatment, I declare for each and every one of us that that which we see and feel and know in this moment is beyond a cerebral activity. It's a vibrational frequency that is in alignment with the heartbeat of the universe, whose innate nature is peace. And so I know for us, we allow the depth of this energy to not only take root in our soul because it's already there, but to emanate and rise up from our soul, carrying forth with it healing power as we engage and encounter all of life itself. We step into the opportunity in this very moment to allow this vibrational frequency of stillness and peace, which is also known as harmony and bliss, to not only just exist within us, but to give as permission to us that in a moment's notice we call it forth, knowing it's always there. And as we call it and call it and call it, not only do we evolve consciously, but we radiate that healing energy from within, beyond where the mind can see. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunity to grow and heal, as we say together, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Lenore. Thank you, musicians. Quite beautiful, beautiful. Yes, we can clap. They don't clap in Christian churches and traditional churches, but we can clap for both a peace and for good prayer and for great music. And just because we have the ability to choose to clap, let's choose to clap. There we go. We can even woo-hoo if we want. There we go. It's all good energy, right? Cool. All right. So our first song, our guest musician song, is by Tina this morning. So Tina, bring it on up and spread your love with us. Tina Meeks, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to say something. There we go. I hear myself a little better. I just want to know, how are you planning to start your new year? Did somebody say freaky? I'm going to say yes to that. Can I hear you say yes? All right. I'm going to need you to do that with me a little bit more. Yes. Can you hear it again? One more time. Yeah. Here we go. I've been saving up these tears for 1,000 days and 1,000,000 years. Now's the time to release all the chains that bind me. Get where I'm going here? I need amazing grace from a friendly face to help me see some love in the human race. Maybe I can turn on the light that wants to shine within me. So I'm gonna say yes. There you go. Yes. Oh, yes to love. Oh, gonna say yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes to love. I like that. There's a saying, love conquers all. So I surrender before I fall. No need to fight. I answer the call of destiny. Yeah. All the pain and all of the tears, all the shame and all of the fears, suddenly they just disappear the moment I
Yes. Miss Tina Meeks, ladies and gentlemen. Andy Belling, Leon Johnson, and Guy Azule. I love it. You accomplished something very few have done here before. You got them on their feet. And they were moving. And not running for the door. Speaking of not running for the door, I just want to remind those of you that were here last week, we said that last Sunday service ran 90 minutes. And I said this Sunday would also run a little bit longer. So it probably won't run 90, but just know it's a celebration ritual today. So I want to begin today by reading something to you. Okay, she had her time. Now it's mine. Okay. I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go. And help us to be wise in times we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. I pray we'll find your light and hold it in our hearts. When stars go out at night, let this be our prayer when shadows fill our day. Lead us to a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. We ask that life be kind and watch us from above. We hope each soul will find another soul to love. Let this be our prayer. Just like every child needs to find a place, and guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. Personally, I absolutely love this prayer. And I've been listening to it on a loop over the holiday season. It's not only provided me comfort, it speaks to the qualities and values that I desire to experience personally in my life. I'm assuming that for the majority of us here today, that's the same for us, that these are the values that we desire to not only experience in life, but to express. I know that for those of us who are steeped in long-term terminology and language of metaphysics or religious science or science of mind or unity or whatever the case may be, the concept or the act of saying give to us is unusual for us. However, it's important for us to look at and understand and know that we have the capacity in our intelligence and our wisdom to reframe that in a way that knows that it's somewhere between that aspect of declaring that or calling it forth, not from some outside being to be activated within us, but declaring that which is within us and doing it if necessary and asking our own consciousness, which is connected in and as the consciousness of God, to rise up and make itself known through us. Our minds are the mind of the law of creation, and it's important for us to trust the process that no matter what languaging we're using, that if we are developing the consciousness of knowing that grace and kindness exist in the world, that we can only experience that and express it when it comes from our consciousness first. That by knowing that, much like the peace meditation around the world today, that for us to have guidance through grace in life is incumbent upon us to open up and allow the power that exists within us to guide us through that process. Not as something outside of us guiding us, but that which exists within us already. About bringing it forth and then means having the faith divine to not only allow that grace to show up in our life, but to be present in the presence as it's activated and shows up in our life, and then to give thanks for you. I bring this prayer forward for us today for the particular reason because we are on the verge of the roll of the Gregorian calendar moving us from the year 2017 to 2018. You may ask today, why am I insistently using the term that we're rolling from the Gregorian calendar from 2017 to 2018? Because I think it's important for us to understand that the calendar that we use in the modern world and pretty much around the world for the purpose of timekeeping and for order in the physical sense in our world was introduced to us as humans in 1582. But it took more than 300 years for all the different countries around the world to change to that from the Julian calendar. Now, the reason that we moved to the Gregorian calendar from the Julian calendar, because the Julian calendar was replaced because it didn't properly reflect the actual time it takes for the Earth to circle once around the sun, which is known as the tropical year. Now, why share this with you this morning? What's important for us to have that information? Well, I think it's important for us to have this information so that we may have perspective on the concept of time itself. To remember that time, whether it's on our watch or in a clock or on a calendar, is a man-made, meaning human-made concept. And that we get to allow it to have power over our lives to the degree that we choose to allow it to have power over our lives. But no matter how we look at that, the reality is that the societal human world that we live in is experiencing a shift today based on a measurement tool that we have called the calendar. Well, what does this mean as we roll the calendar of the Gregorians into a new year? When I asked that question of myself, first and foremost, in preparing for today, what kept coming up for me was the Buddhist statement of, well, as today leaves and tomorrow comes, what will happen? And what will happen is we will be called forth to continue to chop wood and carry water. Now, what does that mean? What it means is this roll of the clock, the roll of this calendar, has zero impact on us in life unless we choose to allow it to do so. Life inherently within itself is not going to shift and change. But however, as this newness takes place in the reality of humanity on our planet, that there will indeed be a shift in consciousness only from the perspective of the celebrations are taking place. And that energy in and of itself has some vibrational frequency that we get to participate in should we choose to do so. Now, as awakened metaphysicians, we all know that the opportunity for newness is not bound by a human tool known as a clock or a calendar or a wristwatch or an iPad or an iPhone. That we have the opportunity for newness with every thought, with every action, with every reaction, and with every interaction with humanity itself. As Deepak Chopra says, is that we have the opportunity to choose anew with each breath. However, with that said, stepping up and into the newness today, I'm here to talk to you about and ask you to look at this opportunity of the roll of the calendar by embracing the old and releasing the new. Now, as it was said to me this morning, that's a little bit odd because it's a twist of the term where normally we would release the old and embrace the new, correct? But I really wanted to shift that up and change it up for us today because it is my intention today for each of us to choose a new perspective on the old and that which has impacted our lives leading up to this very moment. And this moment. And this moment. Because the truth is that every single thing that transpired up until this very moment was a necessity. Because if not, we wouldn't be here in this moment together, experiencing that which we're experiencing and being aware of that which we have the ability to express. And so it's from that concept I want us to embrace the old, to say thank you to every single thing that transpired in our life, no matter what it was, no matter whether or not we celebrated it or held it in disdain. It brought us here. It brought us in this very moment. And as practicing conscious metaphysicians and choosing to live from a place of mindfulness, to expand and to grow and to step into our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, what is required of that is the spiritual awakening. And for me, and I'm choosing to believe for you, that spiritual awakening is really not about changing anything out there, but it's about fine-tuning that which is within and knowing more and more and more at a deeper and deeper and deeper and level that I am, that I am, that I am, that I am, that I am. And that which I am is unchangeable, it's unalterable, it's even impersonal. It just simply is. However, as we embrace it and know that it is the cause to all in life, we can shift our perspective and choose to not be victim to circumstances or conditions in life, but to live from a place of embracing all that transpires in life. Meaning that we're not giving ourselves permission to not be conscious participants in what's taking place, but understanding that there's always a bigger activity that is transpiring through us at all times. As we began the calendar year 2017 in this very room last year, we went through a ritual for those of you that were here, where we took a look at the values in which we were choosing to live our lives by. And I invite you that if you were in this room last year and set out a declaration of values, whether it was compassion or kindness, or whether it was peace or joy, or whether it was giving more or self-awareness, whatever it may be, to check in and ask yourselves, how'd you do over the last 12 months? How did you do? And if you weren't here for that, take a moment and ask yourself, how did you do over that calendar year of 2017? And are you willing to embrace all of it and let go of any judgments or opinions that you have of yourself or others? Are you willing to not necessarily give yourself a clean slate, but to bless everything that has brought you to this moment? It's through that blessing that you allow yourself to experience a healing consciousness, which, as Dr. Holmes says, then reveals through us that which we know ourselves to be. And if our goal and our objective is to know ourselves to be as the I am, that I am, that I am, the wholeness and the completeness and the perfection of God always, then that which is being revealed through us must be equal to that. And the only way for that to be fully realized through us is to have perspective on that which was and a perspective on which that is to come. To ask yourself, were your actions and beliefs and your values and your choices contributing to a more abundant life and rob no one and create no delusion and express a greater degree of livingness over this last year? And if not, are you willing to forgive yourself for any component or aspect of that that you may be holding on to? Today, we have the opportunity to let go of that by embracing it and letting it go, and to dissipate and dissolve back into the nothingness from which it came, and then move into a mindset of not only garnering and grabbing and gaining and holding on to and dedicating ourselves to other values in life, but declaring to ourselves exactly what it is that we want to express in that which is known as time, which is measured by a calendar, which is then telling us what's ahead of us is 2018. But as we choose to live from a perspective that time itself has nothing to do with who we are, but as we experience that which it is, that bringing forth the most of who we are will impact it itself. The great John F. Kennedy says that we must celebrate our past to awaken our future. That's what we're here for today, is to celebrate what was so that we may awaken what is to be in form. And we do that by knowing who we are in that place that is beyond the past or the future. And to know that with every breath and every thought and with every action and with every belief, we have opportunity before us. And it's really all about our attitude as to what is coming for us and through us. Today is the opportunity to issue and experience forgiveness and blessings and love and gratitude, and to be mindful that the opportunity of life before us is infinite. We know that just simply by a calendar alone, we have at least 365 of them ahead of us, correct? But more, because opportunity itself is not bound by experience. So this morning, I invite you to look at life from a new perspective using many of the things that I've spoken about over the last year. Choosing first and foremost to steep our lives in my favorite quote of all times from Gary Zukav, which is, "Choice is the engine of evolution. If you choose unconsciously, you will evolve unconsciously, and if you choose consciously, you will evolve consciously." Suffice it to say, choosing to evolve consciously is much better than unconsciously, and most often far less painful. Choose today to embrace the opportunity before you to use your mind and your heart and your soul and your being to frame that which you desire to be as the life of the divine individualized. Choose to know that there's a divine unfolding at all times taking place through you, and that it's your mindset that sets you up for an evolutionary-based consciousness. It's what Deepak Chopra calls living in the path of least effort. And living from the path of least efforts leads us to a life of grace and ease. Which doesn't mean, least effort does not mean being lazy. It means the least resistance to life as it unfolds. And that can only transpire when you know who you are as a full and complete expression of the divine. I've spoken to you before about grace itself. Only transpires, it's not a blessing from some power that's outside of you bringing forth life's experience. It's the mystical, magical aspect of the divine that is always doing its thing through you. But you experience it when you awaken yourself to the beauty of life itself. When you awaken yourself to know that there is peace and power and beauty and joy and life and love and wisdom always in your field of vision, both human vision and experiential vision as a divine being. It's that opportunity that you have when sometimes life really seems to suck. And you ask yourself, what can I give in this moment? And as you give it, good becomes made manifest before your very eyes. Today is the day that we each have the opportunity to shift our perspective and step into a pathway of what we want to experience in life. We have the opportunity to step into the flow of the universe and its intelligence as it functions with effortless ease at all times, remembering that nature provides wonderful examples of spontaneous creation. I remind you this morning, as I said 2 weeks ago, that a rose doesn't struggle to bloom, it simply unfolds in beauty and grace. Birds don't make heroic efforts to fly, they just simply fly. And it's the nature of the sun to shine, and it's the nature of the stars to sparkle. And that is the same, that it is human nature for our dreams and our desires to be made manifest in physical form easily and effortlessly. But for that to happen through us, we have to do our part. And that part is twofold this morning. It's to let go of what was and embrace it as a divine unfolding. And then to open ourselves up and declare that which we desire to experience. And then let it go. And then let it go. Release it out into the universe, knowing that the law of life must bring forth experiences that are a reflection of that which we desire to have. I'm going to close this portion of this message to you this morning that I hope is inspiring you to take a look at the time that is before you, that is known as the calendar year 2018, with a new set of eyes. I'm going to play to you the music of the song of the prayer and allow you to listen to it. Know that the lyrics are on the back of your sheet if you want to read them along. There's Italian that's being sung there. You may or may not know it. What I want you to do, more importantly than anything, is to look at the worksheet that's there and complete it in the next few minutes. Being connected to that which you're ready to release and embracing that which you're bringing forth in your life. And then attached to your booklet is a little white piece of paper. And I invite you to write on that which you are ready to embrace and release this year. And then we'll go through a ritual of doing that. So can we get you guys back up here, please? All right. So Bob, so please listen and take in. I'm sorry, what? The prayer is in the booklet. You'll find it. Thank you. Bob?
Thank you.
And so when you're ready, feel free to come forward and take that which is the old that we're embracing as a divine unfolding, and we're going to place it in one of these containers of metaphysical holy water and just simply allow it to dissolve. And we hope we're going to trust that even if it stays in any form whatsoever, that much like last year, we'll turn it into mulch in the garden. Remembering that it's through this process we release ourselves to release that which we've declared to become form. So as you're ready, please feel free to come forward. If you could stay in silence during this process, that would be greatly appreciated. Take your time as you stand before the water and allow yourself the ritual of letting go. Just going to remind you, we ask you to stay silent, please. Can I have the practitioners and ministers come forward, please? Tina, did you put in? Did you? Would you guys like to? I'd just like up here. I'm sorry. Just wanting to give the musicians. So let's all take a moment and close our eyes and let's give the musicians a moment to visually place that which they're releasing in the bowl, since their hands are occupied in the moment. Just close your eyes and do the same, please. So I know for each of us that this experience this morning, this ritual of allowing that which we have placed on this paper to return to source, is indeed happening. That the consciousness of our practitioners and ministers that have come forth with us in the front today at the Bema are here as trained practitioners of the teachings of the science of mind, meaning that they know how to speak and know truth for each and every individual on this planet. And so we allow the power of healing to be magnified in this moment, as we place into and upon the law of mind the healing that is transpiring as a result of this experience. And so I know that we know for each and every individual that what has transpired this morning is a new perspective of gratitude for all of life and that which transpires as life. A new perspective of releasing that which we desire and intend that which we set goals for, and that which we know ourselves to be moving forward, as we know with every ounce and fiber of who and what we are, just as we know that gravity works, that the law of life is doing its thing through us. And so we live life not bound by a calendar, but understanding perspective in relation to the calendar. And so we live consciously being aligned as source. We live being consciously aligned with the I am that I am, the power and the presence and the activity of the divine. We live as peace. And we live as gratitude. And we live with compassion and with respect and with dignity and with awareness. We are awakened on our journey. This isn't arrogance. It's knowing who we are, and in so doing, we stay present in the presence of grace as we move forward, saying thank you, thank you, thank you, as we say together, amen, and so it is. Thank you all. Wonderful. So we'd like to bring forward Tina for her second song, please. Tina, come on up. And then after that, we'll have the ushers come forward. Thank you. We're good. We're good. Great.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
It's not, are we ready for 2018? Is that 2018 ready for us? That's right. So the prayer that we had in here today, if you want to listen to it or watch it, you can find it on YouTube. It's called The Prayer with David Archuleta and Nikki Pacheco, I believe is what it is. But you can find it on there if you like. All right, so if we can have the ushers come forward, please. So this is a time for you're feeling it in terms of how you consciously, financially give to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. It's your last week to do that for the calendar year 2017. If you have any year-end giving that you would like to boost your tax returns with and boost the abundance of the universal for you and boost the bank account of CSLA, we graciously and gratefully accept it, reminding you that we are tax deductible here. So your methods of giving are cash, check, or charge. If you'd like to charge, you can do it at the welcome table in the back. Ernesto will be happy to see you back there. Or you can go on our website, which is csl-la.org, click on home and to donate, or through our app, which is how I did it this morning. And so take what you're giving and put close to your heart if you feel so compelled to do so. We do that because the heart is the symbol for love, and love is the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself. So as we place it on our heart, we know together that that which we are indeed giving is doing its part through us. And so repeat after me. Conscious giving heals all fear.
Conscious giving heals all fear.
It awakens and alivens my awareness that I am one with an abundant universe. So today, as I embrace the old and release the new, I awaken within me a more expansive, abundant consciousness than ever before. And so I give. And I give. And I give to that place in the world which nurtures my heart, my soul, and my being. And know that as I give, it absolutely and unequivocally returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come round.
Thank you, Andy and band. Yes. So some announcements for you. So there's brochures still out regarding the Be Well WeHo Wellness at any age classes for adults. I believe there's some beginning just January 7th, as you'll see on these sheets. So if you're interested in that, please avail yourself of that. The office hours come back in alignment this week. Since we were closed last week, know that the Wednesday meditation, online guided meditation, starts back this Wednesday morning. A great gift to give yourself would be to be present on that call at 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning for 30 minutes to center yourself. Class begins January 10th. It's an accredited... January 10th. January 10th, it's a 10-week class. It's called Practical Mysticism. The concept is not about just learning about mysticism. It's about awakening the mystic within. I'm really excited about this class. I've already started the curriculum. It's going to be a lot of introspection, a lot of spiritual practice, a lot of doing just that, of really doing what I talked about this morning, about living from that place of I am that I am that I am, beyond just the 5 steps of treatment. It's going to be great. There's some fun curriculum. Some of you signed up last week, others signed up, and I sent you emails as well. If you're interested, please sign up in the back. You don't have to sign up to come to the class in advance, but if you sign up prior to the class, and I know I'll send you the link there's 2 books that are required for it so that you can get those in advance, and they're easily accessible through Amazon. I'm not selling them at the door. Class is $22. It starts January 10th. $22 per class, starts January 10th. Once again, it's a 10-week class. On January 4th, here in this room, there's a gentleman that will be coming to give a presentation on LGBTQ rights and the religious rights in the Supreme Court. He's the gentleman that helped guide those that are suing the state or the baker regarding the cake maker case. Through LGBTQ. So that is something that's being sponsored by Congregation Colamy. There'll be a lot more events with Congregation Colamy this year, so let's look forward to that. Also, if you're not receiving our e-newsletter, feel free to sign up in the back. That goes out every Tuesday, and that's it for announcements right now. A huge Oh, and Tina has CDs for sale. Told her to remind me. I've learned that if I need to be reminded, I say remind me, so it happens. So Tina's got CDs for sale in the back. Feel free to avail yourself of those. And a big thank you this morning. A huge thank you to each and every one of you for being here and bringing your awareness and your consciousness here on this New Year's Eve. A big thank you to Bob and Jesus and to Erwin for setting up this morning. We have a lot of setup for that. Great thank you to Reverend Lenore, who is our practitioner on duty today. If you need to see her, feel free to do so. Our board member on duty today is Matt Fonda. Please feel free to see him in the back if you have any constructive criticism or anything you'd like to say in a loving, respectful manner. He's welcome to hear it. And a huge thank you to our musicians today, to Andy Belling for doing such a great job today and working all week. I called him yesterday to discuss stuff, and he was preparing the recording that was behind the first song, just in depth. So these guys work hard for that, and I appreciate that. So happy to have you here with us again, Leon. We love having you back here, Leon Johnson, on bass. Our completely healed guy, Azule, back playing percussion for us. And the woman who took us to CH, you are a CH, Tina Meeks. Great, so Tina, we love you. Love having you here. Have some great music that always unfolds. I was at a party last night, as I had said earlier, with some people that I love that's in this room today, and one of them's husband, she was saying that she was going to bring him today, and that's not his reality on Sunday mornings. And he said every Sunday morning she comes home and goes, "Oh my God, there was such great music there." So just a big thank you for all of our musicians who bring that. Yes. So. Last Sunday, we closed with what I talked about as being a ritual in many science of mind or religious science churches throughout the world for years and years and years. It was told that this song was one of Ernest Holmes, who founded this religious science or the science of mind, one of his favorite songs. I'd like for us to close today's celebratory service in the same way. I did not pass out lyrics for you today. It's also something that if you'd like to go online through YouTube and look at, there's a version of it. It's called Let There Be Peace on Earth, and there's a version of it that was signed when the Pope was in town a couple of years ago that's really spectacular. So we're going to close with that today. We're going to sing it, and then I'm going to do a prayer, so please feel free to rise and sing it. Some people like to sway to it. If you like to sway your booty off. If you don't, don't. All right? Some people like to hold hands. If you like to hold hands, hold hands. If you don't, don't. Use the lyrics that feel good to you. If not, just trust that they'll come through you. So let's rise. And as we sing this song, which is Let There Be Peace on Earth, I invite you to know. At Teen Camp, we used to sing it, yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it has begun with me. So feel free to use the lyrics that guide you, and then I'll close this with prayer. Before we wrap up, there are wonderful sweets for you to chew on and consume in the back, as well as coffee and tea, and I know some of you brought stuff, so avail yourself to be in community through food and drink. All right? And so we close this service today knowing that peace indeed has begun with me. Me, the I am of the I am of the I am of the I am that I am. Which means that we are awakened on our journey of life. We're empowered in a personal way, and we know who we are. As a result of that, we move into this calendar year 2018, knowing without a shadow of a doubt the 8 is the number of the infinite. And so we indeed express that infinite in everything we do as the one. And so we move forward meeting and greeting God in all, as all, and through all. As we maneuver this thing called life, we open ourselves up to the joy of life and experience God with every sentient being that we encounter. We say thank you to each and every expression of life that has come before us. We say thank you for each and every experience of life that has come before us. And we said proudly and with dignity and with respect in this very moment, choosing to be an evolved consciousness, thinking and believing and acting in an evolutionary way, trusting and knowing that as we move forward and upward, that life itself continues to get bigger and better because we move deeper and deeper inside of ourselves, knowing who we are. Life is good, and we are good in it. From this moment forward, peace is on earth, and it has begun with me. As we say together, amen, and so it is, and hallelujah! Have a great Sunday. Thank you. Happy New Year. Be safe tonight.